GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. Tonight we'll hear from veteran pitcher Kevin Gausman hoping for one more home start and discuss the high fire danger warning for Muskoka cottagers. Traffic, snarled with lane closures and a TTC Line 3 outage. Over to you, Nathan.
The Kensington Market Spring Fair opens Saturday morning, running until Sunday evening, showcasing over 50 local vendors, live performances, and kid-friendly workshops across the historic market district.
Organizers estimate more than 10,000 visitors will attend, with free admission, complimentary map guides, and designated areas for street art displays and interactive cooking demonstrations.
Headlining the Saturday afternoon stage, folk trio The Maple Roots will perform acoustic sets from 1 to 3 p.m., followed by a community drum circle at 4.
The fair also offers free kids' crafts at the South Pavilion, and with the community buzzing, lots to get to, let's begin. Good morning, Toronto.
Veteran right-hander Kevin Gausman took the mound at the Rogers Centre today, delivering a solid outing that could mark his final home start for the Blue Jays. The seasoned pitcher, who has spent several seasons in Toronto, said after the game he would welcome one more opportunity to face the crowd under the stadium lights. His son, Taylor Gausman, was spotted cheering from the dugout area, adding a family touch to the moment. Gausman's performance helped keep the Blue Jays competitive in a tight series, and his calm delivery reminded fans of the consistency he has provided throughout his career. While rumors swirl about a possible trade or free agency move, the pitcher left the field with a quiet gratitude for the city that has embraced him. The season still has several weeks left, but today's start may prove to be a memorable farewell.
Ontario officials are warning cottagers in Muskoka that fire danger remains high as dry this month midsummer conditions persist. The province's fire danger rating has stayed at the highest level for several weeks, prompting the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forests to urge residents to keep a close watch on campfires, grills, and any open flames. Authorities remind owners that even a small spark can ignite dry underbrush and spread quickly through the region's dense woodlands. The advisory asks cottagers to clear debris from fire pits, maintain water supplies, and report any smoke sightings to emergency services immediately. With temperatures staying above normal and humidity unusually low, officials say the risk of a forest fire will continue through the rest of the summer unless vigilance is maintained. Residents are also advised to stay informed through local radio updates and the province's online fire danger map, which is refreshed hourly.
Premier Doug Ford told reporters in Charlottetown that the provincial premiers stand together as they prepare to sit down with Prime Minister Mark Carney later today. The gathering comes after Washington announced fresh tariffs targeting a range of Canadian products, raising concerns across the Federation. Ford emphasized that a united front is essential to formulate a coordinated response to the new trade measures. He said the meeting will focus on aligning provincial strategies with the federal government's plan to address the tariff threat and protect key industries. The Prime Minister is expected to outline the national approach, while the premiers will discuss regional impacts and potential relief actions. All eyes are on the Charlottetown Conference as the country confronts escalating trade pressures from its southern neighbor. Analysts say the outcome could shape negotiations on agricultural exports and automotive parts, sectors especially vulnerable to the tariff wave.
Yesterday, Toronto police charged a 33-year-old man with a single terrorism offense after his public remarks called for hatred and violence against Israeli and Jewish communities. The statements made during recent city demonstrations were judged to promote detestation and physical harm toward those groups. Police said the charge reflects the seriousness with which authorities treat speech that crosses into incitement of terrorism. The accused faces court proceedings where the terrorism provision will be applied, a step rarely seen in hate-related cases. Community leaders have warned that such rhetoric fuels division, and officials emphasize that the law targets conduct that threatens public safety, not merely expression of opinion. The case underscores Toronto's commitment to enforce anti-hate statutes while balancing constitutional rights. The investigation began after officers responded to the rallies on the Danforth and at Queen West, where the remarks were broadcast on social media.
Yesterday, a Toronto Police Service constable admitted to stealing a lost property burner phone and handing it to a fellow officer already under scrutiny in the department's Project South probe. Constable Derek McCormick pleaded guilty to 1 count of theft of a cell phone and 1 count of breach of trust, acknowledging the phone's estimated value at $5,000. The stolen device came from the police lost property inventory, which is meant to be securely managed for the public. Prosecutors said the incident underscores ongoing concerns within Project South, a broader investigation into alleged officer misconduct. McCormick's guilty plea will result in sentencing later this year, and the case adds another layer to the department's internal review. Police officials said they will continue to enforce strict controls over lost property handling to restore confidence.
Up next, we'll explore the GTA crackdown that seized cocaine, guns, and cash, plus a look at today's traffic. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back. The markets are shifting, traffic picking up, and we've got the stories that matter. Now over to Nathan for your local roundup.
Police announced yesterday they had seized a substantial cache of narcotics, firearms, and cash during a raid on an alleged drug and gun trafficking network in the Greater Toronto area. Toronto Police Service officers recovered 28 ounces of cocaine with an estimated street value of $24,000, 4 firearms, 1 replica firearm, a vehicle, and a motorcycle. In addition, $66,000 in cash was taken from the location. The operation targeted a group suspected of distributing cocaine and illegal weapons across the region. Detectives said the seizure disrupts the supply chain and removes dangerous weapons from the streets. The police continue to investigate the network and have not disclosed further arrests. This raid forms part of a broader effort to curb drug and gun trafficking that has affected neighborhoods throughout the city.
West Nile virus has been confirmed in mosquito testing across several Ontario communities, and health officials say the threat is rising as summer mosquitoes reach peak activity. The province's public health unit is reminding Torontonians to take simple steps to avoid bites, from covering exposed skin to limiting outdoor activity at dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Cases of human infection remain low, but the virus can cause flu-like symptoms and, in rare instances, serious neurological problems. Ongoing surveillance will keep testing mosquito pools throughout the season, and any new positive findings will be reported promptly. Residents are urged to stay alert, especially those who spend evenings on patios or near standing water, to reduce the chance of virus transmission as the summer heat continues. If unusually large numbers of mosquitoes gather near a property, reporting the observation to local health officials can help target control measures.
The province's emergency preparedness minister, Jill Dunlop, appeared on CBC radios as it happens on Thursday, July 21st, to defend Ontario's wildfire response. When host asked her to comment on criticism voiced by community leaders over the handling of a string of recent fires, the interview was abruptly ended by ministry staff. Dunlop reiterated that the government was following established protocols and had mobilized resources across affected regions. The sudden cutoff came as local officials across the province have been pressing for clearer communication and faster assistance for residents displaced by the blazes. Ontario continues to battle multiple wildfires, and the episode underscores the heightened scrutiny on how provincial authorities coordinate evacuation orders, shelter provisions, and fire-fighting support. Toronto listeners heard the exchange as part of a broader conversation about public safety and government accountability during emergency events.
A vehicle fire ignited early on July 22 at a commercial plaza near Eglinton Avenue East and Kennedy Road in Scarborough. Toronto Fire Services responded, extinguished the blaze, and reported that flames quickly spread to several nearby businesses. The incident is being treated as suspicious, and a fire investigation is underway. No injuries were reported. The fire caused significant damage to the vehicle and adjacent storefronts, prompting a temporary closure of the plaza. Units arrived on scene within minutes of the first 911 call, and the blaze was declared under control by 9:15. Toronto Fire Services officials said the cause remains under investigation, with police supporting the inquiry. The investigation will include examination of the vehicle's fuel system and surveillance footage from surrounding businesses. The incident occurred in a busy shopping district, prompting heightened alert for nearby residents and merchants.
Yesterday, mayors from the Greater Toronto Area met with officials from the White House to draft measures aimed at shielding local firms from newly announced U.S. tariffs. Those tariffs, signaled by Washington, could raise the cost of imported goods and squeeze profit margins for businesses that rely on cross-border supply chains. The municipal leaders said their proposals will focus on temporary relief mechanisms, such as tax deferrals and expedited customs assistance, to keep operating costs from spiraling. They also indicated plans to coordinate with provincial authorities to ensure any protective steps align with national trade policy. The effort comes as manufacturers, retailers, and service providers voice concern that higher duties could erode competitiveness and lead to price hikes for consumers. Officials hope the coordinated response will give companies enough breathing room, while broader trade negotiations continue.
Let's get a look at your afternoon forecast with our meteorologist coming up next.
Steady high pressure and a westerly jet at 74 kilometers per hour keep the city dry. On this date, the all-time high for Toronto sits at 33.7 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2016 during an unprecedented heat wave that pushed the province into the hottest July on record. The all-time low is 14.5 degrees Celsius, set in 2015 when a lingering Arctic blast slipped south and snapped the usual summer warmth. By contrast, the climate normal for July noon hovers around 22 degrees high and 13 degrees low, so today's 22-degree peak feels modest. Looking at the live radar, the entire Greater Toronto Area shows a clean canvas, no echoes, no rain bands, no thunderstorms. The high-pressure dome aloft is suppressing upward motion, and the westerly jet stream is slicing north of the city, steering any moisture well eastward. With the atmosphere stable, we expect the clear sky to persist through the afternoon before the sun dips at 8:50 p.m. At noon, the city sits at 17 degrees Celsius under a cloudless sky, humidity hovering around 79% and a calm southerly breeze. The high-pressure ridge remains centered over southern Ontario, holding steady and capping any lift, while a westerly jet at 74 kilometers per hour streams aloft, keeping any moisture to our east. Temperatures will inch upward to 18 degrees by mid-afternoon and hold through the evening, with the low dipping to 12 after sunset at 8:50. The ultraviolet index reaches 7, indicating moderate solar intensity. Winds will stay light, peaking at 18 kilometers per hour from the south. No weather alerts are in effect. With the atmosphere locked in, let's glance at the 5-day trend. Friday arrives with a gentle rise to 22 degrees high and 12 low under a clear dome, keeping the day bright and dry. Saturday's sun gives way to a thick cloud layer, pushing temperatures up to 26 with a low near 19. Expect lingering overcast and light drizzle potential. Sunday stays warm at 27, low 19, but a quarter of the sky will host isolated showers as a weak frontal wave nudges east. Monday spikes to 28 at the peak, low 21, and the overcast returns with a 55% rain chance, the most active day of the stretch. Tuesday cools back to 27 high and 16 low, clearing again with mostly sunshine. The pattern shows a progressive ridge building, then retreating, delivering a brief wet spell before a return to typical summer warmth. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
After the forecast, we'll cover today's traffic, preview the Blue Jays versus Rangers game, and Mumu Financial's Markham store. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Heavy congestion is the story this morning. A lane closure on Highway 401 eastbound between Highway 427 and Kipling Avenue is backing up traffic from Airport Corridor into downtown core. Expect the bottleneck to stretch to the Gardiner, with speeds dropping to 10 kilometers per hour during peak. A second closure on Highway 404 northbound between York Mills Road and Woodbine Avenue is adding delays on Don Valley route, especially for commuters heading to Markham. In the west, Highway 409 eastbound between Highway 427 and 401 is reduced to a single lane, feeding airport exit and causing queues toward QEW. On transit, TTC Line 3 service is suspended between Kennedy and McCowan. Shuttle buses are running every 10 minutes, but travel times are extended by 15 to 20 minutes. GO Transit has adjusted schedules on Lakeshore West and Kitchener lines, with some trains running up to 15 minutes late. All other major arteries are moving freely.
Tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays take on the Texas Rangers at the Rogers Center. Tip-off at 7:10 p.m., a chance to catch a live swing, a home run chance, and a break from the office grind. Grab a seat early for the best view. Meanwhile, the Toronto International Film Festival is turning its spotlight on Canada with a gala and special presentations, featuring Chris Rock's Misty Green and Peter Farrelly's I Play Rocky, perfect for anyone craving fresh stories. It's a chance to see Canadian talent shine on the world stage without leaving the city. Looking ahead, the Pan American Food and Music Festival kicks off tomorrow at Nathan Phillips Square and runs through the weekend, bringing 20-plus chefs, 50-plus performances, and a sea of flavors from across the Americas, a must-see for foodies and music lovers. Don't miss the stages where salsa, reggae, and folk collide, turning the square into a street party you won't want to end. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Here's the latest on Toronto's baseball saga as the season unfolds. Analysts on Sportsnet note the Blue Jays have slipped to a fourth consecutive defeat, and with Kevin Gausman possibly making his final home appearance on Tuesday, talk of a trade deadline sell-off is gaining traction. The club's front office faces mounting pressure. Manager John Schneider, speaking after the third loss to the Tampa Bay Rays, described the stretch as challenging for the Blue Jays. He emphasized the need for resilience, highlighted areas for improvement, and urged the roster to stay focused despite the four-game skid. Experts Jamie Campbell and Caleb Joseph examine how Dalton Varsho's pending free agency status and recent defensive miscues are influencing the Blue Jays' performance. They suggest the uncertainty may be weighing on his play, while broader errors continue to hamper the team's season trajectory.
Mumu Financial Canada in Markham just opened its second flagship store at CF Markville, marking a bold expansion across the greater Toronto area. The US-based stock and options platform is bringing a full-service trading floor to local investors, with in-person advisors, live market screens, and workshops that demystify everything from day trading to retirement planning. The new space isn't just a desk. It's a community hub where newcomers and seasoned traders can swap ideas over coffee and get real-time help navigating Canadian regulations. For Toronto's growing fintech scene, Mumu's presence signals confidence that our neighborhoods can host world-class financial services. It's a reminder that the city's future wealth is being built right here, block by block. And later, we'll share that uplifting story of Mumu Financial Canada opening its new flagship store in Markham. We'll be right back.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on gmna for the local Sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
Tonight, the Blue Jays take on the Rays in a high-stakes showdown at Rogers Center, with city's fans filling the stands and the excitement spilling onto the streets around the CN Tower. The game could tip the division race and set the tone for the rest of the season. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. It's July 22nd, 2026, and I'm standing on the concourse of the Rogers Center. The roar of a house swelling as the Toronto Blue Jays prepare to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The sun glints off the glass dome and the CN Tower looms behind the stadium, its steel silhouette framing a sea of blue and white caps. Fans line the aisles, clutching hot dogs and maple syrup-drizzled pretzels, while the scent of fresh-cut grass drifts up from the field. The announcer's voice crackles over the speakers, calling out the starting pitcher, and the crowd erupts in a chorus of chants. "Let's go Jays!" Children perched on their parents' shoulders wave foam bats, eyes wide with the promise of a home run. It's more than a game, it's a midsummer gathering that stitches together neighborhoods across the city, reminding us why baseball feels like a family reunion. The energy here feels electric, a reminder that sport can turn a downtown arena into a shared living room. Carl Dumont, virtually at Rogers Center.
On a Saturday afternoon outside Union Station, commuters lined the curb as an orange TTC bus moved through a dedicated priority lane. Its lights flashing past a sea of red scarves and soccer flags gathered for the World Cup match against Mexico. The Toronto Transit Commission opened 6 contested lanes along the Gardiner and Don Valley corridors for the tournament, and riders like Maya, a schoolteacher from Scarborough, noticed the difference immediately. She told a fellow passenger the bus arrived 2 minutes early, the ride was smooth, and the driver handed out reusable water bottles with a maple leaf logo. The TTC's post-event report shows that on each of the 6 match days, rider satisfaction climbed, safety scores rose, and travel times dropped compared with ordinary rush hour. Officials say the experiment proved that giving buses a clear path can cut congestion for everyone, not just fans. When the final whistle blew and the crowd streamed back onto the streets, the same priority lanes stayed open, reminding Torontonians that a small change can make a big, everyday difference. That's a hopeful reminder as we head out the door.
On a bright Saturday at Ontario Place's Waterfront Park, the Hockey Diversity Alliance's Summer Fest thrummed with skates on a makeshift rink, and the buzz of families from every corner of the city. In the center, former NFL running back Marshawn Lynch stepped onto a temporary turf field set up beside the ice, his easy grin matching the excitement of the kids gathered around. The Alliance, which has spent the past 3 years using hockey to bridge cultural gaps, added a football component after hearing from local coaches that many youngsters who love hockey also grew up watching Gridiron Heroes. Inviting Lynch, whose community work in Seattle mirrors the Alliance's mission, gave participants a chance to learn ball handling, teamwork, and perseverance from a legend who believes sport can change lives. A highlight arrived when a group of 12-year-old girls, cheeks flushed from the summer sun, completed a short scrimmage under Lynch's guidance and celebrated their first touchdown with high fives and laughter. That shared triumph reminded everyone that inclusion thrives when diverse games meet. Sport can be a common language that welcomes every child, no matter the field they first step onto.
Thanks for joining us, Toronto. Tonight's look at the West Nile virus in Ontario's mosquitoes reminded us to stay vigilant, and we'll keep you posted. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to our community. Until then, stay safe and have a great afternoon.